Hi there, as you can see, today I'm working on tiny canvas. I have a bunch of them. I actually have 12. And a fun thing about this video is that maybe one of these is yours. More on that later. In the meantime, if you're new here, I'm Paula. Welcome to my channel. And if you're not new here and you're wondering why I'm painting on tiny canvases instead of sharing the video of large abstracts that I promise you, is because I had to take a little detour. That video is coming, I promise, I'm working on it. But this week I'm hosting a baby shower for my cousin, and I thought it would be cute to give everyone a little painting as a favor. And if I'm painting it, I'm sharing it with you so you can get ideas. As always, I can't wait to get started, so let's do it. Here are the canvases I got. The quality is good enough, they're sturdy, so that's good. But what I love is they come with this little cute easel to display them on, and that's why I thought they could make cute favors. I'm starting with the first piece, and for this one I chose to start simple, just test out how I feel with working on this scale. So I'm painting a landscape. Now, because this is a baby shower for a baby boy, I want the color palettes to work around baby blue. So all paintings will be mostly blue. And I know it's weird that I just said that and the first thing I do is paint with magenta, but I'm just toning the canvas to get better coverage and some depth. I am really relying heavily in having a huge amount of sky showing on this landscape to make it read as a blue painting. I have very white and large puffy clouds. I did add a little bit of green just to reinforce the fact that it's like a mountainscape, but this was a very simple idea and I just wanted it to be about the sky. After I was done adding greenery, I went back to the clouds to touch them up, worked on them a little bit more, and then painted the sides of my tiny canvas and called it done. And because I think these ideas are also perfect for sketchbooks or to paint on large canvases, let me show you how the first painting would look enlarged and styled on a wall. Second painting. I had already toned this one, so it was ready to go. And while I thought about what to create on it, I painted the sides. I finally decided I was going to do some florals and that I wanted a frame around my flowers, so I painted that with beige. As soon as that dried, I hated it, so I covered it with white. The white frame was done, so I used some washi tape to cover it so I could paint the middle and get a straight line. Peel it off, and not the cleanest peel, but that would do. Then I just started adding flowers, and I just painted what I call grade school flowers, which is basically 5 or 6 dots around the center or a blank space, and then you create the simplest flowers. This is the type of flower I used in all of the canvas. I just used different shades of blue, also added some little leaves, which were just basically like little brush stains. And oh, don't forget, as I said in the intro, I'm painting 12 mini canvas, but there's only actually 11 guests to my shower. So the 12th one I'm going to give away to one of my subscribers anywhere in the world. So keep watching because I'll let you know how you can get it if you like it. When the whole square seemed full enough, I brought in lighter colors to add highlights and yellow and white for the center of the flowers, and called this one done too. Again, look at how pretty it would be to have this in a larger scale. Moving on. I actually wanted to use these to experiment with ideas because of their size. They are not threatening, so I thought I could just paint whatever I wanted. But because I am having this baby shower at my home and my cousins are coming, I thought I should have at least one of the paintings be a smaller version of the large-scale portraits for which I'm largely known locally. So before getting carried away with trying stuff, I thought I should paint a face. And I usually paint my portraits with a halo because most of my work is centered on reminding women of their inner power and reminding us that we are all goddesses, beautiful, powerful, whole, and brave. You are more than welcome to go to my Instagram page or to my website and check out all of my paintings to see what I'm talking about and even check out what's available if you're interested. I do ship worldwide. But yeah, this is why I'm kind of breaking from the experimental vibe and making something I'm known for, because I'm sure one of my cousins will want one of these.
Of course, I still went with the blue theme, so the background is blue and I'm adding as much blue details as I can. I'm using this tiny set of brushes that I bought once for a live painting thing, and as you can see I haven't used all of them, but they came really handy to paint the portrait's face because it was really small. And I haven't used all of them because my paintings are usually much larger, but here they were perfect actually. I think I would have loved to try painting all of these with paint markers because they're so easy to use, but as much as I love my Posca markers, and I do love them, the markers that are smaller than 3M, which means 3 millimeters, are really hard for me to use. I don't know why, for me the paint doesn't flow well and they are scrapey. So I think brush tips would be best. I will spoil for you that I'm going to be soon getting a set of these gifted, but they didn't arrive in time for me to use in this project. So maybe I would do 12 more little canvases using paint markers and a lot of color. What do you think? That could be so much fun. You can see here I did reach for my Posca to do some details on the hair, and because it is a 3M bullet nib, it is kind of hard and I needed a very steady hand. It's not perfect for me to use them for this type of project, but it worked and was fast. Much faster than a brush and still much easier. Last but not least, some details with my gold paint marker, since this is also what I do with my large scale paintings. I use a lot of gold paint and a lot of gold leaf. And with that, I'm calling this one done too. Next, I thought it was time for me to have some fun, so this is gonna be very simple. I wanted to do one of these vibrating hearts, maybe I should call them, that have all of the lines coming out from a little heart in the middle. I've seen them done in every color everywhere, so I really wanted to do one of those. It seemed fun. Now, the first layer of lines was not perfect, so I had to go back and touch all of them up. And yeah, just like that, I called it done. Here are the first 4 canvases and I thought they looked great, so I was pumped to do the 5th one. For this one, I'm also going to be playing a little bit, trying out stuff, so I started by painting the whole background with my watercolors. I then covered the whole thing with little lines. Once I had that, I drew a heart with a pencil. To make that heart stand out, I drew more little lines with a lighter marker. I should have left it there maybe, but I wanted it to be less simple, so I added a second layer around the heart, which made it get lost again. I thought I would fix that with pink lines on the heart area, but I wanted it to be more noticeable, so I ended up giving the rest of the paint a wash with a darker watercolor. That worked, so I painted the edges and moved on to the 5th or 6th. Am I going to do that again, where I mess up the counting? Probably. So I'm just gonna say next. Since my watercolors and paint markers were already out, I thought about another weird idea. I wanted to try out a new concept, so I covered this little canvas totally with watercolors. And while that dries, I really wanted to show you that I'm not actually working on one of these canvases at a time, but between drying times, I was working on others so I could use my time more efficiently than just watching paint dry. But of course, to show these to you, it made more sense in editing to arrange my clips to show you the start of each little piece all the way to finishing it all together. Okay, with that being explained, here we go. We're back at mini canvas number 6. I'm almost certain it's 6 now, so 6. With this one, I wanted to experiment with the idea of neurographical art, but with color. So I started to paint curvy lines in different colors, and I even made the grounding circles. But when it came to round up the corners, the mixing of the 2 colors was not working for me. I did carry through and tried to make it work by changing the widths of all the lines, but I still ended up with this, which I hated. Hated. So full-on artistic tantrum, which meant I started thinking, why did I choose to make things complicated? I should just not wasted my time and do things I've painted before. Why am I trying new things? All of those negative self-thoughts. That rambling that is part of the tantrum and sometimes escalates or even becomes senseless. But I carried on with these thoughts. Now that I'm editing, I'm fully aware that maybe someone will see this and tell me it was okay and maybe not ugly. But I feel once you step into the artistic tantrum for something you've created, it's just really hard to see it differently. And I was having a full-on artistic tantrum. Sometimes I wait and see if I like it better afterwards, but sometimes I'm just full in this thing and it's like I don't see anything else that's something I hate. And I'm just not able to calm down, so I just grab the nearest paintbrush and cover the thing up. In my defense, for this one, I gave it a little bit of a chance by not covering it completely. I just covered the lines I drew, and I did it with a transparent layer of paint, so it wasn't that bad. Okay, so this little one took, I think, longer than the other ones, even though it doesn't look like it. And on that note, I have to say that this video is definitely a challenge to edit, not only because, as always, I have many hours of footage, in this case about 8, but also because there are actually 12 ideas here that you could use on a regular size canvas or in your sketchbook if you like. So sharing 12 ideas is a lot. I went back in with drawing lines with the paint markers. I just did regular lines, playing with the curvy composition, and my abstract thing is ready and I love it. It's actually, I think now, my favorite of the bunch. And here's how it looks in a larger scale. Now I really want to play more with this concept and make more pieces similar to this one. Okay, so we're back with the watercolors on canvas, and this next canvas you saw me start to cover before starting the lines a little while ago. When this one dried, the watercolor stains obviously looked like clouds to me, so I went with that idea and I wanted to create a celestial happening similar to the one I made in my previous video for Create This Book 3. I really wanted to play with this one and create a sky full of colors, a very whimsical-like galaxy thing. I don't know, it was just fun to play with. I finished it by adding mini stars and a moon with the paint markers, and I was finished. And again, don't forget, one of these is yours, and I'll tell you at the end of the video how to participate in this mini giveaway. Next one, I don't dare to count anymore. So next one, watercolor background that I dried with my heat gun this time. Dried, and I was so happy about the previous one, I wanted to do clouds again. I kept the colors of the clouds between blues and purples, and then I did the stars with pink and white only this time. So much fun, and this was a really quick paint. And I thought maybe this would be cute in a baby's room. So I made it larger digitally and made a mop-up. I was really happy about painting night skies, so I wanted to try an extra idea from another artist whose content I really love. So this is not my idea at all. I wanted to be super clear that I'm painting this because I saw Shelly Cloud's short and fell in love. I'm of course linking the video and her channel in the description. This was really fun to do and the result is lovely. She has many more spectacular ideas, so don't forget to go and check out her content. One more night sky. I was in a roll. Loving painting these so much. It made me happy. With clouds, whatever you paint sort of looks good, so that filled my artistic love tank. This one I chose to do in blues only, but added a very bright yellow moon with yellow highlights on the clouds. It's supposed to be a dark night sky, and we have the brightness of this beautiful moon reflecting on everything. I think I've mentioned it before in some videos. This year I'm really connecting to the image or symbol of the crescent moon. Anyhow, added white to the highlights and some white stars, and I was done again. Moving away from the sky, I thought I'd try to represent water. For this one, I painted a very dark blue background, and with a brush acrylic marker, I drew soft irregular lines to represent water. I was looking at a reference when doing this, so I just sort of followed what I saw. I continued with the teal marker, drawing irregular, elongated ovals. They're like weird puddle shapes that connect to each other. I then took a third marker in a cerulean and drew lines next to the teal ones. Followed that up with more puddle shapes in a dark turquoise. Not all over the area, just in random spots like with the previous blue. Then again, I did the irregular puddle shapes on top, the whole thing with baby blue, making them a little bit smaller. And then once again, on top of that with white, smaller yet. I think the key is for the shapes to connect. I wanted a little paper boat floating on the weird water I painted, so I drew that with a marker. While it dried a bit, I thought the white was looking too white, so I added a thin wash of blue watercolor to the whole thing. A very translucent layer just to tone the white down a bit. I polished the painting of the boat with tiny brushes, another layer of watercolor, a tiny heart for whimsical fun, and done. You can see even this one is really fun when enlarged and put in a space digitally. Last canvas? What? It's the last one, so I can confidently say this is number 12. I wanted to try another landscape just a little bit more abstracted. I first painted a layer of paint, sort of blocking out the areas and the composition with different underlaying colors. Then I refined the painting with my second layer and polished it. I changed my mind about the top clouds, erased them, and I just worked on the sky a little more. Added more dark paint to the object on the background and I was done. That's what's nice about a little tiny abstract landscape. You can just do whatever you want. It's fun. So here are all 12 finished. I hesitated to sign the front because of the scale, but I tried it on the first one and I decided it looked okay. So I signed them all and of course, I varnished the lot. Here they are under easels. It's so fun, and this is the one that can be yours. I left a poll in my community tab as soon as I finished them to try to figure out which one to give away, and this one won. And at least it's still winning as I'm editing. To make it yours, all you have to do is comment if you want it and be subscribed to my channel. I'll pick a winner at random and ship it to you. Of course, this tiny giveaway is not sponsored in any way by anyone, just me trying to give back a little as I figure more ways I can celebrate and thank you for being here. Here are the rest of the paintings as I displayed them at the baby shower, and with that, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in another video, which could be the one YouTube thinks you like more and should be popping on your screen now. Have the most beautiful day. Bye!